If you're seeking more emotional balance, clarity in decisions, and want to learn how to better handle life, this content is for you. So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because with each video you'll strengthen yourself from within and see life with more wisdom. How many times does a person spend sleepless nights trying to solve problems that don't even belong to them? How many times do we exhaust ourselves attempting to control outcomes that were never meant to be in our hands? There's something deeply human about this need to feel like we're steering the ship of our lives, even when the storm is clearly bigger than our small boat. We grip the wheel tighter, believing that our strength alone can change the direction of winds we never summoned. The illusion of control is perhaps one of the most seductive lies we tell ourselves. It whispers that if we just plan enough, worry enough, anticipate enough, we can somehow bend reality to our will. It promises that anxiety is productive, that sleepless nights are investments in a better tomorrow. But what if this very belief is what keeps us trapped in cycles of exhaustion and frustration? There's a peculiar comfort in believing we're in control, even when that control is purely imaginary. It gives us the illusion of security, the false sense that we're actively preventing disaster. We become architects of elaborate backup plans, fortune tellers of potential catastrophes, and guardians of futures that exist only in our minds. The harder we grip, the more we convince ourselves that our grip matters. But here's what nobody talks about: the tighter we hold on to control, the more we lose touch with what's actually happening right now. We become so focused on managing tomorrow's storms that we miss today's sunshine. We spend so much energy trying to control the uncontrollable that we forget to nurture what actually is within our influence. The irony is brutal. In our quest to control everything, we end up controlling nothing at all. The modern world feeds this illusion relentlessly. We're told we can optimize our lives, hack our productivity, and engineer our happiness. Social media shows us curated versions of controlled lives, where every outcome seems planned and every success appears inevitable. We compare our chaotic inner reality with others' polished presentations, and naturally we feel like we're failing at this game of control. Yet underneath this constant need to manage and predict lies a deeper truth. We're afraid. Afraid of uncertainty, afraid of disappointment, afraid of being caught off guard by life's unpredictability. So we create elaborate systems of control as armor against the unknown. We schedule, plan, worry, and analyze, hoping that our mental gymnastics can somehow guarantee the outcomes we desire. The exhaustion that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable is real. It's the weight of carrying responsibilities that were never ours to bear. It's the pressure of believing that every outcome depends on our perfect execution. It's the burden of thinking that our worry somehow prevents disaster, that our planning guarantees success, that our vigilance keeps chaos at bay. But what would happen if we loosened our grip? What if we discovered that the very thing we fear, letting go, might actually be the key to finding the peace we've been seeking through control? What if the illusion of control isn't protecting us, but actually imprisoning us in a cage of our own making? She sits at her desk at 2 a.m., surrounded by spreadsheets and color-coded calendars, her coffee cold and her eyes burning from staring at the screen. The glow of her laptop illuminates a face marked by determination and exhaustion in equal measure. Her fingers move across the keyboard with practiced precision, updating timelines, adjusting schedules, mapping out contingency plans for scenarios that may never unfold. Every cell in her spreadsheet represents a piece of her life she believes she can control, every color a category of experience she's convinced she can manage. The room around her tells a story of someone who has turned organization into an art form and control into a religion. Post-it notes cascade down one wall like yellow waterfalls, each one a reminder of something that needs to be managed, planned, or prepared for. Her phone buzzes with notifications from the 7 different apps she uses to track her habits, her goals, her progress toward the person she's decided she should become. The air is thick with the scent of determination and the weight of expectations she's placed upon herself. In the corner of her desk sits a small plant, wilting despite her carefully calculated watering schedule. She notices it briefly, makes a mental note to research optimal plant care strategies, then returns to her screens. The irony doesn't register, that while she's orchestrating the minute details of her future, life is happening right now, in the present moment she's too busy planning to notice. Her phone rings. It's her mother calling to check in, to offer the simple gift of connection. She lets it go to voicemail, too focused on controlling tomorrow to receive the love available today. The voicemail light blinks like a small beacon of what she's missing while she's busy managing what she thinks she can control. Her back aches from hours of hunching over plans and projections. Her shoulders carry the weight of believing that her vigilance prevents chaos, that her preparation guarantees success, that her worry is somehow productive. She's become a general in a war against uncertainty, fighting battles that exist only in her mind while the real war, the one between her need for control and her need for peace, rages silently within her. The clock on her computer shows 2:47 a.m. She tells herself she'll go to bed after she finishes just one more scenario, plans just one more possibility, prepares for just one more potential outcome. But the scenarios are endless, the possibilities infinite, and the outcomes she's trying to control remain as elusive as morning mist. Her reflection in the black window beside her desk shows a woman who has confused preparation with protection, planning with power, control with care. She's become a prisoner of her own systems, trapped in the very structures she created to feel safe. The more she tries to nail down the future, the more it slips through her fingers like water. In her quest to control everything, she has lost touch with the one thing that actually matters. The present moment, where real life unfolds, where actual choices are made, where genuine power actually resides. She's become so focused on managing the movie of her life that she's forgotten to live it. What she truly craves isn't control over outcomes, but freedom from the anxiety that drives her need to control them. Beneath every color-coded calendar and contingency plan lies a heart that simply wants to feel safe in an uncertain world. She's not really trying to control the future. She's trying to control how she feels about the future, and that's where the trap reveals itself. The theme that runs through her midnight planning sessions isn't organization or productivity. It's fear wearing the mask of preparation. Every spreadsheet is a prayer to the gods of certainty, every backup plan a ritual to ward off the chaos she's convinced is constantly threatening to overwhelm her carefully constructed world. She's not planning her life, she's trying to plan away her fear of living it. The weight of this realization sits heavy in her chest, though she doesn't yet have words for it. There's a difference between being prepared and being paralyzed by the need to prepare for everything. There's a difference between taking responsibility for your choices and taking responsibility for outcomes you can't control. She's crossed that line so many times she's forgotten where it was drawn. Her control strategies have become more elaborate than the problems they're meant to solve. She spends more time managing her system for living than actually living. She's created a maze of processes and procedures that promise to simplify her life but have instead complicated it beyond recognition. The tools meant to serve her have become masters she serves. The irony cuts deep when she finally sees it. Her need to control everything has made her life feel completely out of control. The more she tries to manage, the more there is to manage. The more she plans, the more there is to plan. The more she worries, the more there is to worry about. She's caught in a cycle that feeds on itself, growing stronger with every attempt to break free. Her relationships have become casualties of her need for control. She plans conversations, predicts responses, and prepares for conflicts that may never arise. She's so busy managing how interactions might go that she misses how they actually are going. Friends have learned to navigate around her need to schedule spontaneity, to plan for serendipity, to control the uncontrollable magic that makes relationships meaningful. The saddest part isn't that she's failing at control, it's that she's succeeding at it in all the wrong places. She's gained control over her calendar but lost control over her joy. She's mastered her schedule but lost touch with her spontaneity. She's organized her future but forgotten how to be present in her now. Deep down she knows something is wrong. The peace she's seeking through control remains elusive, always just one more plan away, one more system away, one more level of preparation away. She's chasing a mirage in a desert of her own making, always thirsty for the serenity that seems to dance just beyond her reach. Her mornings begin with the ritual of checking her phone before her feet hit the floor. Weather app, news app, calendar app, a digital communion with the forces she believes she can predict and prepare for. She's become a meteorologist of her own existence, constantly checking the forecast for storms that may never arrive. The first 20 minutes of her day are spent not in gratitude for waking up, but in anxiety about everything that could go wrong before she goes back to sleep. Coffee in hand, she reviews her schedule like a general studying battle plans. Each appointment is color-coded, each task prioritized, each moment accounted for. She's built a fortress of structure around her days, believing that if she can control the container, she can control the contents. But life keeps seeping through the cracks, messy and unpredictable and beautifully chaotic. At work, she's the person everyone comes to for organization, but nobody comes to for spontaneous lunch plans. She's reliable, efficient, and completely predictable. Her colleagues respect her systems but worry about her soul. She's become so good at managing the mechanics of life that she's forgotten about the magic of living. Her desk is perfectly organized, her projects always on schedule, but her laughter has become a rare and precious sound. The elevator ride to her apartment each evening is where the weight of the day settles on her shoulders. She's checked off every item on her list, but somehow the list has grown longer. She's solved every problem she anticipated, but new ones have emerged from the shadows. She's controlled everything she planned to control, but the feeling of being in control remains as elusive as ever. Her evenings are spent in preparation for tomorrow's preparation. She lays out clothes, packs her bag, sets up her coffee maker, and reviews her schedule for the next day. She's become a person who lives in the future, always preparing for the next moment instead of experiencing the current one. Her present has become nothing more than a launch pad for her future, and her future is nothing more than a series of problems to be solved. The grocery store is another battlefield in her war against uncertainty. She arrives with a list organized by aisle, coupons sorted by expiration date, and a budget calculated to the penny. She's turned the simple act of buying food into a complex project management exercise. When the store runs out of her preferred brand of pasta, she feels not just disappointed but somehow betrayed by the universe's refusal to cooperate with her plans. Her social media feeds are curated exhibitions of controlled living. She follows accounts that promise to teach her how to optimize her mornings, streamline her routines, and maximize her productivity. She's become a consumer of control, always looking for the next system, the next app, the next strategy that will finally give her the peace she's seeking. But the peace never comes because she's looking for it in all the wrong places. Even her attempts at relaxation are carefully planned. She schedules her downtime, organizes her hobbies, and sets goals for her leisure activities. She's taken the spontaneity out of spontaneity, the rest out of rest, the play out of play. She's become so skilled at managing her life that she's forgotten how to live it. The silence of her apartment at night amplifies the noise in her head. Plans breeding plans like rabbits in the garden of her mind. She's become a stranger to serendipity, a foreigner in the land of letting go. Her heart beats in the rhythm of her schedule, her breath moves to the tempo of her timeline. She's forgotten that control is just another word for the fear of trust. The weight of tomorrow sits heavy on her chest, even though tomorrow doesn't exist yet. She's carrying luggage for trips she'll never take, worrying about storms that may never come. Her peace is always conditional, always dependent on outcomes she can't guarantee. She's become a master of preparation and a stranger to presence. The future she's trying to control is made of the present moments she's not living. Her lists have become longer than her life, her plans more detailed than her dreams. She's afraid of the very uncertainty that makes life worth living. The more she tries to eliminate surprise, the more she eliminates joy. Her need for control has become the very thing that's controlling her. She's forgotten that the opposite of control isn't chaos, it's trust. The irony writes itself in the margins of her calendar. She's planning for happiness instead of being happy. Her security blanket has become a straitjacket. The future she's trying to secure is built on the present she's not experiencing. She's become a prophet of problems that exist only in her imagination. Her worry is a prayer to a God that doesn't exist. The peace she's seeking can't be planned, can't be scheduled, can't be controlled. It lives in the spaces between her plans, in the moments she's not managing. Her salvation lies not in better control but in the courage to let go. The river of life flows around her carefully constructed dams. She's become an architect of anxiety, an engineer of unease. Her freedom is waiting for her on the other side of surrender. The life she's trying to control is the life she's not living. That Tuesday evening, something shifts. Maybe it's the rain that started falling without appearing on her weather app. Maybe it's the way her perfectly planned dinner burns while she's checking her phone for tomorrow's traffic patterns. Maybe it's the simple recognition that her elaborate systems of control have become more exhausting than the uncertainty they're meant to manage. She stands in her kitchen, smoke alarm beeping, holding a phone that promised clear skies for a day that's now stormy. The irony isn't lost on her. She spent so much time trying to predict and control the future that she's burned her dinner in the present. The smell of charred food mixes with the scent of rain through her open window, and for the first time in months she laughs. Not a planned laugh, not a scheduled moment of joy, but a spontaneous eruption of recognition. The rain falls without her permission, without appearing on her hourly forecast, without consideration for her carefully planned outdoor activities. And yet, the world doesn't end. Her plants, the ones she's been overwatering according to her precise schedule, seem to dance in gratitude for the unexpected shower. They don't need her management. They need the rain that comes when it comes, the sunlight that appears when it appears, the natural rhythms she's forgotten in her quest to control everything. She opens her laptop, stares at the 17 browser tabs open to different planning applications, and does something she hasn't done in years. She closes them. Not to organize them, not to save them for later, not to optimize them into a more efficient system. She just closes them. The screen goes black, and for a moment so does her mind. In that darkness, she finds something she's forgotten how to recognize: silence. Not the absence of sound, but the absence of the constant mental chatter of planning, worrying, and managing. It's been so long since she's experienced mental quiet that she almost doesn't trust it. But she sits with it, lets it wash over her like the rain washing over her plants. She walks to her window and watches the rain fall in patterns she could never predict, never control, never manage. Each drop follows its own path, finds its own destination, serves its own purpose. The beauty isn't in the control, it's in the letting go, in the trust that things will unfold as they need to unfold. Her phone buzzes with a reminder about tomorrow's early meeting. Instead of immediately checking her calendar, confirming her travel time, and reviewing her prepared talking points, she lets it buzz. The notification sits there, waiting while she continues to watch the rain. The world doesn't end. Her career doesn't collapse. Her life doesn't fall apart. The reminder just waits, patient and undemanding, while she chooses to be present instead of planning. For the first time in months, she feels something she'd forgotten existed: peace. Not the conditional peace that comes from having everything under control, but the unconditional peace that comes from accepting that not everything needs to be controlled. It's a peace that doesn't depend on outcomes, doesn't require certainty, doesn't demand guarantees. It's a peace that exists in the middle of uncertainty, in the heart of the unknown. She doesn't make a dramatic announcement to herself about changing her life. She doesn't create a new system for being less controlling or a plan for being more spontaneous. Instead, she makes a quiet decision that echoes through her bones. She chooses to trust the process of life, even when she can't control the outcome. The next morning, she wakes up 5 minutes before her alarm and lies in bed listening to the birds instead of immediately reaching for her phone. It's a small act of rebellion against her own systems, a tiny declaration of independence from the tyranny of her own making. The birds don't sing according to her schedule, but their song is more beautiful than any playlist she could curate. At work, when her colleague asks if she wants to grab lunch at a new place, she says yes without checking reviews, without researching the menu, without planning the optimal route. They walk through the city streets, and she notices things she's missed in her rush to execute her perfectly planned days: the way shadows fall across the sidewalk, the sound of laughter from a nearby cafe, the smell of fresh bread from a bakery she's passed 100 times but never really noticed. The lunch is imperfect. The service is slow, the food is different from what she expected, and they're late getting back to the office. But she realizes that imperfection isn't the disaster she's been trying to prevent. It's just life being life. The conversation flows naturally, without an agenda, without predetermined topics, without the need to control the direction. She rediscovers the joy of not knowing what someone will say next. Her calendar still exists, her lists still get made, her responsibilities still get met. But now they serve her instead of enslaving her. She's learned the difference between being prepared and being paralyzed by preparation. She's discovered that she can be responsible without being responsible for everything, that she can plan without being imprisoned by her plans. When her mother calls unexpectedly, she answers. The conversation meanders through topics she couldn't have planned for, touches on memories she'd forgotten, and ends with laughter that wasn't scheduled in her day. She realizes that the most meaningful moments in life are often the ones that appear without invitation, that unfold without management, that exist in the spaces between her plans. Her evening routine changes without her trying to change it. Instead of immediately planning the next day, she sits with the day that's ending. She doesn't analyze its productivity or efficiency, she just lets it be what it was. Some days are good, some days are difficult, some days are ordinary. She's learning that her worth isn't determined by her ability to control the quality of her days, but by her willingness to fully experience them. The spreadsheets still exist, but they're no longer monuments to her need for control. They're tools that serve a purpose, not masters that demand worship. She's found the balance between being organized and being obsessed, between being prepared and being paralyzed. Her plans have become lighter, more flexible, more responsive to the actual texture of life as it unfolds. There are moments when the deepest act of courage is not taking control, but learning to trust the current that carries us all. She's discovered that the peace she was trying to create through control was always available through surrender. Not the surrender of giving up, but the surrender of letting go, of trusting that life knows how to unfold even when she doesn't know how to direct it. The woman who once stayed up until 3 a.m. planning for possibilities that never materialized now sleeps peacefully, knowing that she can handle whatever tomorrow brings without having to script it in advance. She's learned that her strength isn't measured by her ability to control outcomes, but by her capacity to respond to whatever outcomes arise. The future is no longer a problem to be solved, but a story to be lived. Her relationships have flourished in the space she's created by letting go of her need to manage them. Conversations flow more naturally when she's not planning what to say next. Connections deepen when she's present for what's happening instead of preparing for what might happen. Love grows in the fertile soil of uncertainty, in the beautiful unpredictability of human hearts meeting without agenda. The plant in the corner of her desk is thriving now, not because she's found the perfect watering schedule, but because she's learned to pay attention to what it actually needs instead of what she thinks it should need. It's a small metaphor for a larger truth. Life flourishes not under control but under care, not through management but through attention, not through prediction but through presence. She still makes plans but she holds them lightly. She still has goals but she's not imprisoned by them. She still prepares for the future but she doesn't live there. She's found the sweet spot between responsibility and release, between intention and attachment, between caring and controlling. Her life has become a dance between planning and spontaneity, between structure and flow. The irony she's come to appreciate is that by letting go of control, she's found the thing she was trying to control: peace. Not the peace of having everything figured out, but the peace of being okay with not having everything figured out. Not the peace of certainty but the peace of trust. Not the peace of control but the peace of letting go. Her story isn't unique, it's universal. We all struggle with the illusion of control, the belief that our worry prevents disaster, that our planning guarantees success, that our vigilance keeps chaos at bay. But what she's discovered is available to all of us: the recognition that the opposite of control isn't chaos but trust. The opposite of planning isn't irresponsibility but presence. The opposite of worry isn't carelessness but faith. The greatest control we can exercise is over our need to control. The most powerful choice we can make is to choose trust over fear, presence over planning, acceptance over resistance. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a dance to be danced, not a project to be managed but a gift to be received. In the end, the peace we're seeking through control is found in the courage to let go. The security we're trying to create through planning is discovered in the trust that we can handle whatever comes. The happiness we're trying to engineer through management is waiting for us in the present moment we're too busy planning to notice. Subscribe to this channel if this resonates with you, hit that like button if you felt this struggle, and share in the comments a moment when you found peace by letting go instead of taking control. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is nothing at all, and sometimes the greatest strength we can show is the courage to trust the process of life itself.